Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for December 31st through January 3rd. How are you doing? Wow, so we have three major squares going on right now, all in different modality signs, meaning we've got, because when squares happen between signs, this is a tension aspect, and it happens between cardinal signs or fixed signs or mutable signs. So it's really powerful right now because we have three very powerful, very potent squares going on, all one in cardinal, one in mutable, one in fixed. Now, these squares are all happening on one side of the zodiac, delineated by the nodal axis. The nodes of the moon sit at 1 degree and have been at 1 degree for almost 2 months. 1 degree Gemini, south node, 1 degree Sagittarius. So they are poised for a change as the nodes of the sign move backwards, like the shift of ages. And so the nodal axis is just about in January 19th, the nodal axis will shift into North Node Taurus, South Node Scorpio. So it's a very strange time right now because we feel on the edge of a precipice of a major change, especially now with Jupiter having moved over into the sign of Pisces. But the same energy there. It's like a big change. Jupiter visited Pisces last spring, only made it to 2 degrees, and then retrograded back into Aquarius. So now Jupiter sits poised at 0 degrees Pisces, about to move into new territory, but it's kind of this breath of like we're teetering on the edge of the next chapter. And with the holy nights, this time of year where it calls us into deep introspection, this time of in between the old calendar year and the new calendar year, it's very, very powerful astrology speaking to us of the big changes that are coming, and yet how we're kind of, I'm seeing the tarot card, the Hanged Man. It's like where the Hanged Man is hanging upside down, so he can't really go anywhere. But he's in a yoga pose. He's in the tree pose, which is about being rooted, grounded, and he's upside down, though, right? And this is exactly the energy of our world right now. Whew, because Jupiter is in an exact square. Here's our mutable square. Jupiter, an exact square to the nodes of the moon, just as they shift signs. So it's this huge bloom of mutable energy. And Jupiter is expansion and brings more an amplification effect. So right there at the very early degrees of Pisces, it's speaking to dreaming into the future. And Jupiter is excited to expand into this spiritual energy of Pisces. But Pisces also has an energy of total confusion and not knowing what's real and not being able to sort out. And so we have a huge bloom of this energy right now. And the nodal shift, the last nodal shift happened in May of 2020. So it's like been since then that we've been in this kind of confusing time. Mutable signs, it's not very easy to navigate because mutable signs are about adjusting. Cardinal signs are about starting, the instigating, getting things going. And fixed signs are the completion, the walls, the stability, the new form. So with a square on one side of the zodiac, we have a very powerful square, a T-square with the nodes with Jupiter just dangling there in the Hanged Man. I'm not sure what's up or down, but it's almost like this feeling we've all been feeling of like there's great change on the horizon, but here we are just suspended in between time again, and especially with Venus retrograde, and Mercury has moved into retrograde shadow. So Mercury takes a retrograde on the 15th of January. Now that's right about the time that the Jupiter square, the nodes, comes off, the influence of that. So we have this really strange energy through the middle of January, but we can use this to our advantage Because it's kind of like when those times where it's like, whoa, I don't know, what's real, what's not real, where I'm coming from, where I'm going from, what's up, what's down, that hanged man position. We can actually completely reorient our life. And that's what we're being asked to do, to start living and breathing right here, right now, that new timeline that we know is possible. And it simply has to do with a concept that there's just so much more to this story. And Jupiter, right on the edge of 0 degrees, a Pisces, is like, it's everything. It's the shift of ages point, moving from the Piscean age to the age of Aquarius. And so that shift of ages point has so much power to it. And because we've been trying to move over into the Aquarian age, and here we are, just kind of, it's like we've taken a breath and now we're holding it. And so, but we can use this energy in between. It's kind of like that train in the roundhouse. And if the train in the roundhouse, it's like going around and trying to figure out the right way to go. And so because things are so strange and so in between and so retrograde, it's like we can make that leap onto that more optimal divine timeline. So very, very powerful energies to be able to anchor in and choose right here in every moment that bigger truth of who you are, supernova soul. There's so much more to this story. Now, this is powerful because we've got Mars in Sagittarius speaking to this, and Mars is still in a sextile relationship with Saturn. Very powerful. So the fixed square that's happening is a square between Saturn and Uranus. And this speaks to the shift of ages and what's taking so long to change. How do we change our physical world, our manifest world? We're feeling all these energetic changes. So that Saturn square Uranus has been going on for a full year now, a full year of a story. And so again, that brings that that influence comes off around the 19th of January, and that's right when the nodal axis shifts. So the 15th, we've got that shifting energy of Jupiter coming off of the square with the nodes, and then this Saturn square Uranus coming off. We also have Mercury turning retrograde right then. And then we prepare for those nodes to shift signs as well. So January is a long drawn out in the middle of, it's like you've taken a leap, and while you're in the air, adjustments are being made to the ground below, like you're time traveling and you're not sure where you're going to land. What if that's true on some level? You're going to land in your highest vibrational possibility. And that's where we've got to bring our energy and attention and our vibration. Like there's just so much more to this story. And it's the greatest story ever told. And you are a crucial player because you have not given up your direct connection to source. So you are here to stand for humanity while it sleeps and to say, no, we're not going to take it. We're not going to play along with these games. So a huge energy that we're moving into because of all of this. Because we've got Venus retrograde and Mercury in retrograde shadow, and they're right around Pluto. Now, Mercury or Venus is going backwards, so it's back to 23 degrees. Pluto's at 25 degrees. And then Mercury is at 27 degrees. So they're just 2 degrees apart, just lining up. And as we head into this Capricorn new moon. So Capricorn new moon happens on the 2nd, Sunday. And the exact time of that is in the morning, late morning in Mountain Time in the US. So I hope you'll consider joining me. The information to sign up is in the information box below, but a live activation for this Capricorn new moon. It's a powerful start to have a new moon just a couple of days into the new year while we're still in that holy night period. We're still in that introspection. We're still in that adjustment, that deep internal place inside the cave, inside the womb of the mother, being reborn and rebirthed. And so this new moon in Capricorn is speaking to a new start in the energies of Capricorn, and with Pluto there and Mercury and Venus and retrograde energies. And it's like, what did we miss here? What did we miss in this Capricorn story? And it's all about the structures of our lives It's a Pluto transformation, breaking down. It's like an authority and power structures. And it's like every structure of our life that doesn't fit this bigger truth of who we are is falling away. And it's like it feels, because Mercury and Venus are so involved, but Pluto is a transpersonal planet. It's like out there, the backdrop. But when our personal planets get involved, it's hitting home, right? So we see that the structures of our world have to change if we're going to move into the Aquarian age, right? And yeah, but what does that mean reflected in the structures of our everyday life? Or Venus is what we want, what we need, our vulnerabilities, our sensitivities, our comforts. And then Mercury is our mind, our conception, our in Capricorn, speaking to breaking free of mind control and programming. And so it's a very strange energy. Mercury and Venus just came together, Venus going backwards, Mercury going forward, but slowing down, both of them having this extended time with Pluto and Capricorn because of these retrogrades. And it's like really coming home to a personal place. So this new moon activation will be, the energy could be about, we don't get to say what comes up in the activations because we're just in the present of reading the energies, of what you bring and what I receive, what comes through for all of us, a really beautiful experience. But so we don't get to say exactly what we're going to do, but there's a lot of energy around sovereignty and claiming. It's interesting because it's like, it feels like we're talking so much about claiming that ideal timeline, but we can't do it until we claim our sovereignty. And that has to do with every moment of every day, our psychology, our permission, our ability to, and the Holy Nights meditations are really helping with this. It's a really great energy for focus and for clarity, and practicing on all levels of our being and our thinking, our feeling and willing, and wielding the sort of discernment of bringing our energy and attention back to that single focused place. And so a very powerful opportunity to come together during these holy nights for that new moon activation, that Capricorn new moon activation. It happens at 12 degrees, 20 minutes. So 1, 2, and 2, and it's like lots of twos. We're moving into 2022. What does this mean? Where it's a massive, massive shifting point for humanity. And here we've been getting this message, supernova souls, that you're here to lead the way in this shift, in this ascension. And so what does that mean for you? And is it this opportunity right now that the stars are giving us to just make the leap and anchor into that most true, most high, most divine timeline, that energetic frequency? So when we come together, we have way more power to do that. So I hope you'll consider joining that new moon activation, just a couple of days here. So this new year is so powerful. We talked about the mutable square, which is Jupiter in square to the nodal axis. Where we could, the nodal axis is the future karma, past karma, what's holding us back, what's the direction we're trying to go. And the nodes are about to shift signs. So we're in a complete lack of direction. We've been in a complete lack of direction for 2 whole years almost. And it's like, what's going on? So that square is really significant, and bringing this massive bloom of, on the one hand, an excitement of moving into Pisces and the spiritual energies available, and this opportunity to dream a new dream and dream into the future, but also this kind of mutable confusion and delusion energy of like, well, how do I even move or do anything if I can't read the energies? It's so weird. There's just layers and layers of deception. And what's even going on? It's like we're breaking out of one matrix and getting trapped in another one. Then we got to learn the rules of that matrix and figure out, find each other again in these different timelines. It is a crazy, hectic time on all these other levels. So go easy on yourself right now. It's time to rest and recuperate and recover and prepare for the next chapter that lies ahead. And this is going to be the energy through the middle of January, pretty much through the end of January. We're start feeling those shifts at the middle of the month. So the cardinal square is we've been feeling for the last few days exact is the sun in square to Chiron in Aries. Now, this is starting to come off. The sun square Chiron, we'll just be feeling through the new moon in Capricorn. So that's really powerful. It's like taking us over the threshold, but it's very powerful. That, like I said, the cardinal signs are the starters, the instigators, the movement, like let's do something new. And so it's powerful to have this, but it's also a really interesting dynamic because the sun is like our identity. Like, who do you think you are? What role are you playing? What are you doing? Like, how do you define yourself? And in square to Chiron and Aries, it's like, well, I'm wounded and I can't get out of these old stories. Every time I do, I get triggered back into trauma and I don't even understand where the trauma comes from. And I'm going in loops. But this energy of Chiron having turned direct, and this surge of power, that fight for life force, that fight for life, that fight for really living. This is what is going to help us establish those timelines, our ideal energy, because it's like, Chiron is saying, are you going to live or are you going to die? Right? We got to claim back life. And so the sun in square to Chiron is a reworking, a tension around our identity, who we think we are. And the only way out of this mess, and the whole theme of the energies right now, is like, there's way more to this story. So if you're going to pretend that you're small and you're going to just go along with the program, like a kept animal on a planet, slave planet, right? Or are you going to thrive and break free and step out of all authority energies and claim that ideal, that bigger truth? We don't have to know what it is to move into that energy. And everything right now is trying to keep us in absolute confusion. This is how, when you're really confused and you can't figure out what's going on in life, it's a sign that you're being manipulated. So humanity is being massively manipulated right now. It's like we're just this grand experiment, and it's like, it's just getting sold. And it's sick and wrong. So how about we have a starseed rebellion, move this shit forward for once, and that's where you come in. And that's why you're in the cave. And that's why you're in this recommitment into who you really are, your pre-birth soul contracts, that there's so much more to you that wants to be expressed. And you don't have to know what it is or what that means. You just know there is more, and to live and breathe in that truth. As a way to claim this energy. So that Chiron, sun square Chiron, is kind of like, ooh, how can we, we've got to use those wounds of the past to activate our superpowers. And that is the higher octave of Chiron. It's like a magical healing power. So the magical healing power of Chiron, in Aries, is life force, immune system. It's so powerful. If you've ever seen the body heal itself and really experienced this, you can never forget it. And that's what they're doing everything to make sure, the fear of the whole, the divergent timelines in those that are really choosing the energy of fear. It's like, what are you so scared of? What are you so scared of? You're scared of a pathogen? Do we even know that exists? What are you so scared of? You're scared of death. Supernova souls, you're not scared. We've already been to hell and back. It's about living and living fully. And that's the thing. Are you going to continue to live in a half-ass way, or are we going to step onto that ultimate divine timeline and start actually living? And that's the magical power of Chiron in Aries, the mystical, magical healing power of a direct access to life force that overcomes death, overcomes all disease. So that's a really powerful. And so we've got that cardinal square moving us over into this new age, triggering the cardinal energies, triggering all of that Capricorn power, just the stack up of energies in Capricorn. And so then the fixed square is that Saturn square Uranus. And that, like we said, that's been going on for a full year. So all of these squares are stacked up, like cutting angles into just one side of the zodiac. Everything's on one side. And so it has this energy of that teetering on the edge, moving into the new. And maybe we have to get so uncomfortable and so devoted, so dedicated, so determined that we overcome all fear of the unknown. That's really the only fear that's going on. It's because there just feels like, okay, I'm going to take a leap, but there's just space. I can't get a grasp of, I can't sense like, So as we have these shifts in January, there should be more clarity, more feeling of like, okay, this is how it's going to work in these new energies. But again, Supernova Soul, if you're here to lead the way, then you got to be paying attention out there on the edge or on the cutting edge. And that's why it's powerful to come together for these events. And I hope you can be a part of this Holy Nights of Peace. The information to sign up for that is, or the Telegram channel links to Adrienne Lee's Telegram channel are in the description notes again too, but I forgot to put the Holy Nights of Peace in there anyway. But here we are tonight at night 7, moving into the second half of the 12 Holy Nights, a deep and profound opportunity to go within and be present in the womb of the mother in this dark time in the Northern Hemisphere as a meditation of bringing the light back to the world, of birthing that Christ consciousness and its purity and its innocence in each of us, in our heart and soul. So the 12 Holy Nights are a journey through the 12 archetypes represented by the astrological signs. So you can use them as a meditation on these archetypes throughout each one night for each month of the year, looking back for last year, what that month was like, and then opening up to visions and dreams about your next month, your 2022 month. But basically this focus on the archetypes of the human journey of consciousness. And so check that out. And it's a beautiful place, sacred place to join together. Even if you don't make the recordings are posted right away. So you can just go check out those nights you missed, or use those meditations in whatever way works best for you. So thank you so much for being on this journey. It's so powerful. And let's stay close in touch as we move. We're in this weird in-between time, but as we have those incremental changes and Jupiter gets going into Pisces, we'll get a feel in the nodal shift and everything. It's kind of like, ooh. So let's stay connected. And so we can help each other with that, living energetically that bigger truth. That there's way more to this story. And that's everything the control energies have tried to do, is keep us from knowing who we are and our power, disconnected from our Akashic records, in fear, programmed with fear that our power is going to hurt other people, going back to Atlantean time, and authority contracts that say, oh, no, you don't. And these authority contracts that we've made to stay small and hide from who we really are, they're with beings that are not as evolved as where we came from. So why would we want to have contracts with them? It's all about control. And so that's why this narcissist control energy, that's what we've been dealing with this whole evolution, supernova souls. And it's coming up really strong with all this Capricorn energy. And it's coming up in our personal relationships. And it's like maybe all we've ever known is control-based relationships. And then it's quite a healing to release from those energies and have the strength and the confidence to forge into new territory. And that's exactly the energy of Venus retrograde in Capricorn. So we got to follow this really closely and just know that, yes, we're going back into the goo, and but it's about sovereignty and autonomy and absolute commitment to that bigger truth of who we are. And so Venus, as it turns direct, is going to find that inner strength and that confidence to be able to really move forward. So use this time wisely. Let's stay connected energetically. There's a beautiful energy this time of year, and with Jupiter moving into Pisces, that's available to us. And so let's use that energy to our advantage and dream this new dream of what the old dream, the kernel of the Gaia codes, the truth of this earth experience, and the way so much more to the story that lives inside of our hearts. So thank you so much, Supernova Souls. I love you so much. Have a wonderful New Year, New Year's Eve, and New Year. Happy New Year. And I look forward to connecting with you on the other side. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.